Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I just finished nudging us into the orbit that I think we want to get into. Let's hop in and check our orbit. Yeah, that's perfect. Ideal. Okay, so you don't want to know how long it took me to get this orbit. You'll notice that we have patch conics now. There was no way that I was able to do this without getting it. Luckily, we had enough money from completing our flyby contract. We had just enough money to grab it and have enough to work with. So that's fantastic. I actually just released our engine. I should have done that a lot sooner because these guys aren't very good at pushing when we've got a lot of weight. But it took, I don't even know, probably 2 hours in real time to get this orbit created. But now we've got ourselves a re-entry profile. We're going to be coming in pretty steep, and we do not have a re-entry burn. 35 kilometers, it's doable. It's going to be tight, but it's doable. I'm pretty sure. I mean, yeah, this is going to be a very tight re-entry, but we've just got our escape lined up here. This looks great. I think we are pretty much ready to go. So, let's head on home. First things first, I'm going to warp to Moon Escape. Goodbye, Moon. We were here rather longer than I intended to be. But I think we're good. And this time, Bob, you're not going to have to, as one of the commenters put it, you're not going to have to be Felix Baumgartner. That was a apt way to put it. So I'm just going to go ahead and warp. There we go. We are now over Kerbal. We have escaped from the moon. We're going to want to sit at surface retrograde here, because if we don't sit at surface retrograde at the speed we're going to be hitting the atmosphere, we are definitely going to be losing parts if we don't do this. We have to be behind this heat shield at all times. We have absolutely no margin for error here. And we gotta drop speed fast as we re-enter. So I'm gonna go ahead and warp towards Kerbal, but not all the way into the atmosphere. So onward we go. I do think that it's a little bit broken that whenever you re-enter the pod, the EVA propellant gets fully refilled every single time. It's a little bit broken. Like, I feel like they should probably do something about that. We've escaped the gravitational influence of the moon. That is fantastic. We're 9 minutes from re-entry, and re-entry is going to be a bit on the dark side. Look at that inclination. That is so disgusting. Didn't have much of a choice on that one, though. We're going to be re-entering on the dark side. Again, I didn't have much of a choice. We can't do anything about that. I had to take what I could get on this particular re-entry. So let's just go ahead and warp forward a little bit here. Once we get to about 100 kilometers, I think I will go ahead and reorient. That's not quite 100. There we go, that's good enough. So we'll reorient there. How are we doing on electric charge? We're just fine. Fantastic. So I'll warp forward to about 75. Okay, from here, I cannot physics warp. We are going way too fast entering this atmosphere because we're going to be hitting about 35 kilometers at like 2 kilometers per second. It's going to be insane. So we just have to hold surface retrograde and call it good. There's our debris. It's come along with us. It's going to burn up for sure. 21 kilometers towards the surface. Yeah, look at this. We're going to have major heating issues. Luckily, our heat shield is present. I did not forget a heat shield. That would be very problematic if I had forgotten a heat shield. We're having some heating effects on our re-entry module. That does have its own ablator, though. So we do have heat ablating off there. And we're all the way down to 2.9 kilometers per second right now, but we're already at 40 kilometers. We have to hold surface retrograde. If we lose attitude, we're dead. Our periapsis is down to 33 kilometers. Our apoapsis is dropping very, very quickly, though. But this is just a ballistic re-entry, and there's not a whole lot we can do to adjust it. It is what it is. I don't know where we're going to land. I don't know at what speed. But we're going to land. I can tell you that much. Well, something's going to land. Our heating effects have gone away, so that's fantastic. We're now moving at 2.2 kilometers per second, and we are 33 kilometers above the surface. Our apoapsis is within the atmosphere, so we're not going to be making multiple aerobraking passes. I could have targeted a little bit higher up. The last push that I tried got us to, I think it was 42 kilometers, and I thought about stopping there, but I wanted to go just a little bit deeper into the atmosphere, but I dared not go any deeper than this. This was sketch enough as it was. So let's see how this ends up playing out. I think we're actually fine. We're moving at 1.6 kilometers per second right now, 30 kilometers up. I think we're okay. .4 kilometers per second. 1.3. And we're not even in the thickest part of the atmosphere yet, so yeah, I think we're completely fine. Yeah. SAS can go off at this point. And we can just fall freely. We're 100% fine. That worked way better than I thought it would. Like, I thought for sure that we would lose this service bay. How far did we get our ablator? Only 140. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that re-entry went better than expected, for sure. Let's get all of our chutes out. We're going to be landing in desert, it looks like, which we don't really have much data from currently. We should collect all of the data that we can here. And we can crew report, temperature scan, and once we slow down a little more, we can EVA report. I'm not going to have Bob get out and try his descent again, because we're over desert this time. That's slightly harder of an impact. If he tries to go down 1.4 kilometers again, he might have an issue. But at this point, we should be fine to physics warp. Drogue chutes will be deploying shortly. Right about now. And main chutes shortly after that. Right about now. There we go. We're going to have Bob EVA. And he'll grab an EVA report. Fantastic. And we will go ahead and physics warp towards the ground. It'll take us a little bit to get there. So a couple of things were clear from this flight. One, we didn't really have the Delta V to do what I was trying to do, but we could have done it if we had maneuver nodes, which we now have. I was just taking a less efficient path because I had no way to plan it out. So that's definitely something to consider. We're down to 300 meters above the surface. 200. 100 meters. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the physics warp now. We're 20 meters above the surface. And there we are. We'll go ahead and collect all the data that we can. We'll grab a crew report, temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan. We're going to EVA Bob, grab an EVA report, and then, I mean, he could jump down to the ground. There you go, Bob. And what we can do is we can restore the Science Junior, observe the Materials Bay. There we go. And we can go ahead and restore the Mystery Goo Containment Unit. And observe the Mystery Goo there. The goo hates it in the desert. Okay. And now we can go ahead and recover Bob. And then we'll also recover the vessel. And that should give us, frankly, a ludicrous amount of science. That's just for Bob, right there. 2.4 science. Excellent. And now we'll recover the Griffin 2X module. No, I don't want to fly it. I want to recover it. There we go. 306.2 science. And as you can see, our amount of money is considerably lower because I did some upgrading. I upgraded our mission control to level 2, as well as our tracking station to level 2. So in terms of science, we can grab heavy rocketry, in theory. That would give us access to the skipper. Of course, that's not going to give us the mainsail just yet, but that does give us access to the Rockomax family. So we'll grab that, and then Rockomax 32 fuel tanks and external fuel ducts. That'll be pretty important to grab. We'll grab this aviation just to clean up this tier. And then, I mean, are we going to be landing on the moon just yet? We'll probably wait until we can get the surface stations this time, I think, if we can get away with that. Mark 1 lander can. That's only a 1 crew capacity, though, so probably not. Although the pomegranate re-entry module with a crew capacity of 3, that would be a pretty good thing to grab. So we can't get the landing here, so we're definitely not going to land this mission. But we can bring the Moonstone back with you. You can find it in Lowlands, Twin Craters, or East Farside Craters. Okay. Rendezvous 2 in orbit, we will do that eventually. Some satellite positionings might be decent in terms of funding. A specific orbit of the moon. It needs to have a Mystery Goo and Materials Bay on it. Test a radial decoupler at the launch site. Yeah, we can do that, for sure. I think I'm going to hold off on the positioning the satellites for right now. We're doing okay on funds. If we need money, we can always run those. So for right now, what we really need is some more science. And yeah, we got quite a lot of money for all of that, returning home from a flyby and all that. So, I think we are... Well, we need to test that radial decoupler. So let's go ahead and hop in here and open up the Griffin 2X. And I'm just going to stick a random radial decoupler on here for right now. And then we will launch that. I'm not going to bother saving it. And then we'll run the test on the radial decoupler. Is this the right decoupler? Yep, it is indeed. Do I have to stage it through the staging sequence? Yes. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make another stage quick. There we go. We just bombarded over here a little bit. I'm sure it'll be fine. And we'll go ahead and recover that. Fantastic. So now that we have access to the maneuver nodes, I think we're completely fine to just launch this. Although, sans that part. I think we're completely fine to just launch this, and we should be able to orbit the moon. I think we will definitely take Bob along, but we'll bring Jeb since he is our least experienced pilot right now. So we can launch this, and we can prepare. Okay. I think we are completely ready to go. We should be able to orbit the moon if I can actually plan out the maneuvers properly. So, off we go. Excellent. We'll be starting to gather some horizontal speed as soon as we possibly can here. Just trying to rotate it on over a little bit. Of course, we always have that rotational issue. We're going to have to hold pretty soon for detaching our SRBs, and I'm going to do that right now. So SRBs are going off now. Excellent. Our apoapsis is already almost to 70 kilometers. So we'll just hold right around over here, although we're having some atmospheric pressure trying to flip us to the horizon that I'm having to counter. Okay. We'll hold right here for the time being. Actually, we're fine to just go to the horizon currently. Excellent. And we will just get some horizontal speed rolling here. Okay. So, in theory, we'll be able to get into orbit here, and we should, I hope, be able to orbit the moon and come back without having to get out and push. That would be nice. I'm just going to an apoapsis of 80 kilometers for right now. Okay. And now we'll just go ahead and put in a maneuver node to finish this off. And that'll do the trick. Now, technically, we're going to have to use some of our maneuver stage for this. That's okay. Okay, so this is a burn time of 2 minutes, 4 seconds, so we want to do this at a total DV. Okay, decoupler's here. I was a little confused there. I'm an idiot. I just decoupled. Okay, we'll have to abort this flight. I messed that up. Yeah, that was me just being dumb. That's a lot of fuel that we just gave up. There's no way we can do it without that, what was that, like 600 DV? We absolutely needed that. Well, no, we need another 700 to get into orbit. We should still try to flatten out our trajectory. But we're going to have to abort this. Because I'm dumb. Okay, let's flatten our trajectory here. We want a little more air between us and the ground. Is there anything we can do here? Like in-space high stuff? We can open up our X-Science and check for in-space high. Let's see here. EVA report while flying high over Kerbal. Okay, there's some in-space high stuff that we could do. In theory. A lot of these are splashed down at Highlands, so... Okay, let's go ahead and go retrograde at this point. Surface retrograde. We're just gonna have to bring it down, I think. Because, yeah, we've already got our flying high stuff. Yep, that was just me messing up. So, down we go. And I will try to not do that next time. Well, maybe we should redesign this rocket anyway, with a little bit more DV. I suppose we could do that. I'm going to go ahead and physics warp forward. Until we start getting a little bit more atmospheric effects. And maybe we'll get some science out of this. Who knows? We've got 920 meters per second left in this thing. In this tank here. Okay. Can't physics warp anymore. It's starting to get dangerous. We're just going to bleed off speed now. Do a re-entry burn. And we're not going to detach this if we can at all help it. I'm going to keep about 300 meters per second here. Or actually, I'm going to keep like 10 seconds of burn time left is what we're going to do. Alternately, if we slow down fast enough, then we might keep a little bit more. Which it looks like we kind of are slowing down fast enough. I mean, we'll be able to deploy drogue chutes pretty soon, but I'm going to keep 10 seconds of burn in this. Just to try to cushion our landing a little bit. We can physics warp now. Drogue chutes out. Main chutes out. And let's see what we end up at once we get a little bit closer to the ground. Because yeah, this was entirely my fault, but we can redesign this a little bit to make use of the new Rockamax parts. Which I probably should have done anyway. Okay, there go our main chutes. Oh yeah, this is plenty slow. I'm not concerned. We don't even need the 10-second burn, but I'm going to burn that anyway. And it's a 10-second burn. We're going at about 5 meters per second. So we want to burn that at probably 40 meters above the surface. Something along those lines, because we're going to slow down a little bit more. So we're going to want to do it sometime around right now. Excellent. We managed to keep this stage alive. And we can actually get ourselves a mystery goo observation and materials study here. And on top of that, we can collect this. Have Bob go for a bit of a swim. And he can restore the Science Junior. Is he walking under the... Okay. Bob, you are doing weird things, and it's slightly terrifying. I don't know what's wrong with you, but you are clearly some sort of a demigod. Okay. We're going to go ahead and run our materials study. And I think we may as well grab this as well. So we'll keep that, and we'll recover this. There we go. So yeah, I think we do need to redesign this launcher to give us a little bit more DV budget to work with, so that I don't have that happen again in the future. Granted, the problem was entirely me. It wasn't really a problem with the design. That said, the design could use an overhaul, so I think that is going to be the project for next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and next episode, we are going to design the Griffin 3X. See you all then.